Judge orders black general to return her honor medal. What she did next ended her career forever. General Regina Cole had been a symbol of resilience, discipline, and dignity for over 3 decades in the U.S. military. As the first black woman to rise to the rank of four-star general in her branch, she had shattered countless barriers and earned a reputation for fearless leadership and unwavering integrity. Her wall of medals told the story of someone who had been through wars, led missions in the harshest conditions, and mentored thousands of officers across ranks. But none of that mattered when a judge ruled against her. The controversy began with a classified military operation overseas. General Cole had signed off on a rapid extraction mission that saved American lives, but it also resulted in unintended civilian casualties. Although internal investigations initially cleared her of wrongdoing, a political storm followed. A whistleblower leaked confidential documents suggesting the mission's intel had been incomplete and that Cole had allegedly ignored advisory warnings. The leak sparked outrage in the media and a call for public accountability. A congressional hearing was convened, and under pressure from several senators, the Department of Defense was forced to re examine her conduct. Though many of her peers supported her, political tides had shifted. With public trust in government at a low point, Cole became the face of everything the system was accused of getting wrong. Then came the ruling. A federal judge, responding to a civil petition filed by the families of the civilian victims, issued a symbolic but devastating order. General Regina Cole was to return her highest military honor, the Legion of Valor Medal, awarded for her courage during the operation. For a moment, the nation froze. Cameras captured the precise moment she stood before the court, dressed not in uniform, but in a simple black suit. With calm resolve, she removed the medal from its case and placed it on the judge's bench. Her face didn't flinch, but it wasn't over. Outside the courtroom, as reporters swarmed and her supporters cried out in protest, General Cole made a single statement. "I do not wear medals to define who I am. I wear my scars, my service, and my truth. But if justice demands this, let it be returned. I only wish they knew the whole story." That statement set off a firestorm. High-ranking officials and former soldiers who had once stood beside her began distancing themselves. The Pentagon announced she was being placed under review. Then came the final blow. She was asked to resign. General Cole handed in her uniform 2 weeks later. The same uniform she had once worn into battle. She disappeared from public life shortly after. No interviews, no memoir, no speeches. Just silence. But for the young black women who once looked up to her, for the soldiers who had served under her command, and for those who knew what she had endured, she remained a hero. Not because she had medals, but because she had the strength to give one back when the world demanded a sacrifice. And in doing so, she made the ultimate one, her career. The truth behind the medal, what the government tried to bury about General Cole. 2 months after General Regina Cole vanished from the public eye, a quiet movement began online. Soldiers, former intelligence officers, and even civilian analysts started sharing cryptic posts and messages tagged with "Justice for Cole" and cached unclassified truth. Whispers of a cover-up were growing louder. One post, allegedly from an anonymous defense contractor, read, "She warned them. The data wasn't complete, but they pushed the mission anyway. She took the fall for a decision made above her head." Investigative journalist Lena Ramirez, who had followed Cole's career for years, launched an independent probe. What she uncovered changed everything. Through leaked internal memos, Lena discovered that General Cole had in fact questioned the mission's intel just hours before deployment. Emails and transcripts showed she had requested a delay, insisting that aerial footage and civilian mapping were outdated. But her superiors, particularly one high-ranking official in the Joint Chiefs, allegedly pressured her to proceed, citing time-sensitive national security interests. Cole complied. She executed the mission under orders. But when the fallout came, she was the only name listed on the mission directive. Her final signature, sealing the fate of her career. Lena's report aired on a late-night documentary, and while it didn't reach millions, it reached the right people. Veterans who knew Cole personally, lawmakers who once served under her command, and a few brave insiders still working in the shadows of the Pentagon. a new wave of public support erupted. Protests formed outside military courts. A petition demanding a formal reinstatement of Cole's honor medal surpassed 1 million signatures in under a week. A few retired generals released public statements, finally speaking up, admitting that Cole had been scapegoated for political convenience. Still, Cole remained silent. That changed on the day she was invited to speak. Not by a politician, not by the military, but by a high school history teacher in Atlanta whose students had started a campaign in her name. Cole walked into that auditorium quietly. Her posture was still straight, her eyes sharp. She faced a crowd of 400 teens, teachers, and veterans who had driven across state lines just to hear her speak. She stepped to the podium and said, "I didn't lose my medal. I gave it away to keep the peace. But peace without truth isn't peace, it's silence. And I'm done being silent." The crowd erupted. From that moment, her exile ended, but not with a reinstatement or apology, with a movement. To be General Cole rises again. The movement didn't just trend, it mobilized. Veterans, students, teachers, and activists across the country rallied under the banner of Justice for Cole. Donations poured in, town halls were packed. Cole's face, once removed from military websites, was now on murals in DC, Chicago, and Atlanta, painted with bold captions, stripped of a medal, not of her honor. Meanwhile, inside Washington, the pressure mounted. Several members of Congress called for an independent inquiry. Whistleblowers, once too afraid to speak, started coming forward. One of them, a junior analyst named Marcus Byrd, admitted on national television, "We flagged the mission intel as compromised. General Cole saw it. She tried to stop it. The people who overrode her, they're still sitting in high places." The nation listened, and for the first time in years, there was bipartisan outrage. But Cole never asked for retribution. Instead, she built something new. With the support of thousands, she launched the Regina Cole Foundation, a leadership institute dedicated to training young women of color for roles in national service, diplomacy, and security. Within a year, her foundation had branches in 6 major cities. Cadets wore navy blue jackets stitched with her personal motto, "Lead with courage, speak with truth, fall with honor, if you must." Still, justice wasn't done. Then came an unexpected twist, an invitation from the United Nations. The Secretary General personally requested Cole's presence in Geneva to co-chair a global panel on military ethics and humanitarian oversight, a role that would give her more global influence than she ever had in uniform. The Pentagon tried to block it, but the UN overruled. On the day of her UN appointment, Cole stood before world leaders. The same medal she had returned sat displayed in a glass case behind her, not as a symbol of shame, but as a reminder of sacrifice. "I was asked to give this up in the name of justice," she said. "Today, I reclaim it, not for myself, but for every voice that was silenced, every leader that was forced to bow, and every young girl who was told to stay quiet. We don't return medals for truth, we rise with it." Thunderous applause. Some wept. Even her former critics were silenced. Regina Cole didn't just survive the scandal. She turned it into a global mission, and from the ruins of betrayal, she rose.